Well, most of us are living in quarantine right now, and if not, at least in social isolation. It's been a few months now since all of this started, and it's definitely led to a lot of reflections. And so I would love to share with you some of the reflections I've been having, both conceptual and also practical. I think it's very easy to come to hard and fast conclusions as to what all of this means. Definitely, it's very easy to get caught up in the day to day, maybe even to panic because of the uncertainty, and it's easy to get bogged down by the daily news. It's easy to get bogged down by the fear of getting infected or infecting others, or the protocols, or the different laws that are being put out very quickly, and whether or not we're following them. Uh, especially for those who have obsessive compulsive disorder or have tendencies of OCD. Um, whether or not you're washing your hands properly, or if you have enough hand sanitizer, enough wipes, if you have enough food, enough toilet paper, which I really don't understand the purpose of hoarding toilet paper, but that's for another full podcast on toilet paper. One reflection that I keep coming back to that really gives me a lot of hope as to what's to come is that all of this, despite its extremely challenging conditions and effects, and how it's really affecting our health as individuals, our health as communities, and our health as institutions, because hospitals and clinics are, maxed out, or they're working extremely hard and are putting their lives on the line. But it's also affecting the economy, local and national and international economies. It's affecting social norms, family relationships, domestic abuse, educational systems, even how children, who were going to traditional schools, whether public or private, are now being homeschooled, or virtual education, etc. So I know it's very easy to get caught up in that. But what gives me hope, and what helps me have a peace of mind and helps guide my actions and concrete steps that I can take, is that all of this is happening for a reason. Now, why exactly? I don't know. But we can see some results already, and we'll be seeing some more to come. Specifically, how this pandemic has really led us to understand that we are all interconnected beings. We are not isolated individuals that can just do whatever, we want, and thinking that it won't impact humanity. It's really led us to see that the actions of one person in the other side of the world can impact another person on the other side of the world, almost in an instant. I see it as if we're all cells of one human body. And if you look at a human body, it's extremely complex. It's made up of many cells and organs. And if we see ourselves as one of these little cells, if we see ourselves as ourselves, little lame joke there, we might not think we can make an impact, but the health of that one cell is very important for the health of the entire body. We know that one cell can become a cancerous cell. Many of us have probably experienced how that can affect the human body and how quickly. I can speak from firsthand how many family members, including my mom and aunts, I've lost due to cancer. So one, we don't want to be that cancer cell that everybody's pointing fingers at. And we certainly don't want others to be a cancerous cell, right? So if we realize that interconnectedness, that really shapes our day-to-day actions and the way we think about the world. So what does this all mean for us, for musicians, for music professionals? It means a lot, and I think we're already starting to see something. We're seeing so many collaborations online from musicians, both small and independent musicians to the biggest names you can mention. These musicians are coming together for benefit concerts, for live shows, to talk about the situation, to have a voice on behalf of their fans or communities or whoever they may represent, to just soothe the pain that people are going through, to be a balm for the emotionally and psychologically wounded. You're seeing musicians offer lessons, whether it's an instrument or voice or something along those lines. And I think there are a lot of beautiful things that are happening. I mean, there's even so much I'm honestly losing track, and I'm not definitely able to participate in all of these wonderful things, but I'm just sort of observing. And even though I myself have participated in making some collaborations online, for example, we recently produced a salsa song called Quédate en casa, stay at home, for the Colombian population mainly, promoting to stay at home. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful collaboration with great musicians, all recording from their cell phones. And then I got to mix it and to help put it out. But so obviously we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. We know that this is not going to end this month, next month. This is going to take some time, even though gradually the restrictions will be lessening, will become looser. It's still going to affect us as musicians for a long time. And we're going to have to get used to working from home, working digitally, working virtually, which I think for a lot of us won't be much of a challenge. But I think for those who are used to doing tours and live performances, that's definitely going to be a challenge. And it'll be maybe a steep learning curve, especially those who maybe are not so used to social media or the online platforms, etc. But another observation that I feel like this has had is like with all these big artists doing concerts from their home, isn't it interesting how they feel so much more human now than ever? Because they don't have these makeup artists, they don't have all these lights and professional sound necessarily, or they're not on a stage. They're just there in their living room, in their bedroom, in their bathrooms, with an untidy bed, with their underwear hanging from their chair in the behind. It's just, I feel like that's actually really good and really healthy for us right now. For a long time, we've definitely been transitioning from this world of stardom where only stars can make it, where you have to have a record deal, where you have to, where once you had to record in big studios, where studios were super expensive, and only record labels maybe could afford it, etc. We've definitely been transitioning with the digital age and the ease of recording from home. A lot more musicians have been able to record from home. With the explosion of social media, all of a sudden we have free platforms to market and distribute our music and other people's music, and connect almost like one-to-one with the musicians and their artists. Much more are fans thirsty to see like behind the scenes and the making of the music, rather than just being presented a fancy CD every 2 to 3 years or so and not really having any idea how it was made, or just like the process that the artist went through. And so all of a sudden now with us seeing these big stars in their homes, although obviously some of them have super nice homes, um, it reminds us, they're just human, like any of us. Now, it doesn't mean they have some crazy talent or some crazy connections that allowed them to get to where they are right now and have the success they've been able to have. But it allows us to reflect on how possible it really is for each one of us as musicians and music professionals, no matter how independent, no matter how small we may be, that we can really do this. We can have a voice as well. Now, it may not be fast that we'll be able to have that voice, but we certainly can. Especially also, I think another outcome, another result, or symptom, I guess you could say, of this pandemic is that the standard of the quality of recordings or videos is going to lower. Because if we're going to be able to see major stars recording from their cell phones or their computers, via Zoom or Skype, whatever it may be, and people are digging it. People aren't complaining about like, oh, it doesn't sound professional. People are understanding of the circumstance and therefore kind of ignore the technical elements and just focus on the music. There's less of an opportunity there to mask talent also behind auto-tune or all these effects and reverb or whatever it may be. And don't get me wrong, all those effects have a purpose. I don't have anything against auto-tune if used correctly. But what it's allowing us to do is like really connect with the music rather than be distracted by the technicalities of it, if that makes any sense. So those standards are lowering, and it's really gonna allow people to connect much more with the heart and soul of the musician, and vice versa, for the musician and the artist to connect to the hearts and souls of the people. This is the time. People are so much more receptive right now to things that move the heart. People are reconsidering all of their standards in life. They're reconsidering even where they live. For example, if they should live in a big city. I mean, my wife and I are definitely talking about that. It's something we've been wanting to do for a long time, to be in a rural area and have that farm where we can grow our own veggies and not just our little tiny garden here in a big city. People are reconsidering their kids' education. People are reconsidering how close they are to family and whether they should live closer or not. They're reconsidering their work, if it's really bringing value to the world, or whether it's really their calling, or are they doing it just for the money or just because their parents told them to do so. All of these things are like up in the air now. So this is the perfect time to really reflect on our role as musicians. What is our role? Not just now during this time, but from here onward. And I feel like this is the time for us to get it together, musicians. This is the time to realize that we are very important in how we can shape society, and how we have to be conscious how our music is also shaped by society. There's a beautiful quote I want to share with you that goes like this. It says, "We verily have made music as a ladder for your souls, a means whereby they may be lifted up unto the realm on high. Make it not therefore as wings to self and passion." That quote is from Baha'u'llah. He's the founder of the Baha'i faith. Now, whatever your beliefs are, take it for what it is. Whether you believe in God or you use another name for God, such as creator or the universe or universal energy. I mean, honestly, these are just terms. Whatever suits you. I don't want to be apologetic about my beliefs, but I want to respect yours. But according to this quote from Baha'u'llah, it's saying that music has been made to be a ladder for our souls. Now, what is a ladder for? It can help us either go up or go down, to ascend or descend. If we believe that music is that ladder, then let's reflect on the music that we're putting out. Is it helping people's souls go up or go down? Is it degrading women? Or is it uplifting their station and empowering women? Is it being prejudiced toward a particular group of people? Or is it instead recognizing the oneness of humanity and how we're all one family? Is it promoting this incessant materialism and consumerism that we just have to buy and buy and buy and purchase? Or is it recognizing that we are also spiritual beings and we don't have to rely solely on material things? So on this particular episode, I don't want to go too deep. I know I've already gone there. There's a lot more that I could say on this subject matter. But for now, I want to leave it at that. This is a time to reflect as musicians. What is our role? This is a time to take action also, but you don't have to hurry to take action. Don't take sporadic action. Be decisive. Be thoughtful in your action. Maybe a lot of us have time to kill right now. I certainly don't have a lot with a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old that I'm tag teaming with my wife as to who gets to teach them and who gets to work, who gets to cook, and who gets to clean up. I mean, there's just a lot going on right now as a dad. But maybe for those of you who don't have as many home responsibilities, and maybe you're just twiddling your thumbs, or Netflixing every single day, take the time to maybe just sit, take a breather, meditate, get a pen and paper, and just write some reflections. Do a mental log. Try to do it daily if possible, even just for 5 minutes. And reflect on what all of this means for not just you, but your family, your community, those around you, and what your role is as a musician and as a music professional during these times. Thank you. Stay safe, be patient, be loving, be generous, and be kind.